A very big welcome to you, my dear Libra. The sun is now in Taurus, and Taurus is all about self-worth, is all about spiritual knowledge that you teach to others, but only because you have experienced it yourself. And that's then the self-expression the sun will bring. And so the sun now is giving the light to the moon, which is in your sign. And so you are able to look into the subconscious and see where is injustice deep within you embedded, where can you teach that, where can you ground yourself into that type of knowledge. Then we're going to look, of course, at the Queen of Swords. That's the court card if your birthday is between September 12 and October 12. Then she is your court card, right? The Queen of Swords. She is, as a Libra, always the one that loves beautiful things. And of course, she's connected to the 7th house of love and relationship. We're going to look at Venus because Venus is ruling you, and Venus is love, beauty, but also the money. And I'm doing a special because Pluto, the last judgment, is retrograde in Aquarius for the first time, because Pluto has moved into Aquarius in November last year, and this is his or her, depending how this planet, is it a he, is it a she, right, is called. But we are experiencing for the first time Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, and so I'm just gonna look at that as well. Back to the last reading where Aries Sun gave Libra full moon the light. So that was your last time when you had the opportunity to really show who you are, to go outside. The message was every full moon brings a new evolutionary transformation. And I had a special there as well because Neptune has moved into Aries and is going to stay in Aries for 14 years. And of course, I'm looking if there is a reoccurring card that I can include into this reading. And I am not seeing a reoccurring card, so we can begin the reading. So I begin with the court card, right? Check in the description below, there I have the dates for all the court cards, and you're getting the 5 of Cups, which is Mars in Scorpio. Now on Monday, Tuesday, depending where you live, we have a full moon in Scorpio, and so Mars is ruling Aries, and Aries is opposite of you. And Aries has given you the light for the full moon, right? And so you are recognizing now that there is something about you going back within, and it's kind of like this introverted, I have to feel again what's going on deep within me, and it's not always easy to do such a energy change, right? To the full moon we go to the right, I read to the right, and when we go back to the new moon I read to the left. So you get that feeling of like, okay, I'm going left, I'm going introverted. And so the 7 and the 5 is the 12, and that's Neptune that has now stationed in Aries and will stay for 14 years. And so here you get the message, right, already. And the 3 is left out of the 12, and that's then the Empress. Be an Empress who can handle this kind of sadness, because these are tests, human tests. What is coming from the Mother piece? Sorry, you get the 4 of Swords to the right, which is Jupiter in Libra. And this kind of sadness you can observe when you meditate, when you go and look within, right? You are not finding the solution in the exterior. You finding the solution within you. And yes, this card is pointing to the right, but always remember, from the outer perspective to the right, right is right. But then when I meditate and I become the card, it's actually tilting to the left. And so the 7 and the 4 is an 11. And so here we have the 5, and 5 is the month of May. The 11th of May, you are gonna feel that something important is happening. And here in Europe, the 11th of May is Mother's Day. So maybe that is helping you to observe on Sunday this very specific energy. And you see that here comes a very clear message, because Jupiter in Libra is saying expand within, expand to the fact that you can overcome any sadness. Mars in Scorpio, because you are gonna feel this, you are gonna be very much like, okay, how I'm gonna deal with it. But you also have the 5 and the 4, which is a 9, and the 9 is the completion. And so you understand clearly what's going on here, right? And of course, we can also do the 5th of November as a date, right? So that's more in November, when then again there is Scorpio season. And Scorpio season is sad because all the leaves are falling, and you know, the season is finished, right? We're gonna be in the middle of fall. Now the Empress. The Empress is getting the Hierophant, right? So you are directly feeling that Taurus is talking to you. Become a spiritual inspiration. Become someone that knows its self-worth through the work he has done. The 5 and the 3 is an 8. Have the strength to understand the infinite number 8, right? And also have the strength to overcome the depth of it, to know that you are always gonna be someone that is quite challenging the mental aspect by yourself, right? But then also to others. And so observe that, right? Don't be too harsh in that. Then, of course, I want to see what is Taurus saying. And Taurus is bringing you the 5 of Pentacles. And again, you're getting a test. So you had the test with the 5 of Cups, Mars in Scorpio. And you see that here is a 5-5-5 portal. 3 times the 5, right? So this is Mercury in Taurus. And Mercury is the magician, and Taurus is here. And you see they walking into the spiritual aspect of what you teach. There are people who are lost. There are the 5 coins. There's a door. They passed the door. And here he sits, and it's almost like you are this person that is bringing the information to the people. This sadness, this difficulty in self-worth can be taught, can be shifted if you go into the 8, if you go into your strength, in your self-worth, and also use Venus, use the planet that is ruling you. And so 3 times the 5 is self-empowerment through learning, through the 5 elements until the 5th chakra, and then talking about it, speaking about it. And so this is really beautiful, right? You have like a strong message here already. And so here we have now 2 times the 5, right? And here we leave the 3. Of course, then I want to see what is coming from your deck, because Venus is ruling you, and you get the 8 of Pentacles. And so you can see now, right, that 5 Pentacles and 8 Pentacles, that's 13, and the 13 is Scorpio, opposite of Taurus, right? Taurus is giving the light to the full moon in Scorpio. And so here comes the sun in Virgo. Work on the way you see your self-worth. Work on teaching that to others, that their self-worth matters, right? And so here's an 8 and here's an 8, framing here this 5. This is a sad 5, right? So is, of course, the 5 of Cups. These are sad 5s. Actually, all of the 5s are kind of sad, right? Because they're tests. And when you overcome this test, then you can show to the world that you are really a spiritual teacher. So take on that challenge. And remember, when we calculate here the 8 and the 5 together, we got the 13. The 4 is left. And the 4 comes then when you meditate, when you look deep within, when you understand that deep within there is a vast connection to dimensions that you don't even know exist here in this dimension, right? And so you have a 4-4 portal with the 4 of Swords, Jupiter in Libra. And so the message is beautiful already, right? You have solutions to this, right? You know that he is teaching you something. They are looking for a teacher. It's almost like here they walk in and now they're sitting here and they're listening to what you have to say, and you help them to overcome, because you point with the finger up, overcome the sadness that sometimes exists in this dual world. Then the moon. The moon is bringing you the lost compass, the number 35, getting back to an integrity. And the 35, of course, we have the 3, that's Venus. And then we have the 5, again, that's here, the Hierophant, Taurus. So the 8 is appearing again. So you have, again, the 8-8 portal, right? And you understand that the 8 is that infinite knowledge that is always there for us. And so the people here that are lost are actually now wanting to be found. And it's coming through the subconscious. You can help people through the subconscious so that they can find themselves. And so the 18 is then a 9, and the 9 and the 8 is the 17, and the 17 is Aquarius, and Pluto is in Aquarius. So we're gonna look at Pluto and see what he has to say. And so then the 8 is left, right, out of the 17. Now I want to see what is your deck bringing you, getting another 4 of Pentacles. So you have 5 Pentacles, plus 4 is 9, and 8 Pentacles, 17 Pentacles. And so you understand clearly that something is talking to you, that in the Aquarian age of Pluto in Aquarius, right, which brings us to the information that we get on the internet, we also need to be careful, because sometimes the information can be quite fake. And so you always have to listen and not be lost in the wishful thinking, right? Getting back to an integrity of being grounded, being earth. Now, this is Sun in Capricorn, which is interesting, right? We had here Mercury in Taurus. Then that's the earth sign Taurus. Then we have Sun in Virgo. Virgo is the other earth sign. And now we have Sun in Capricorn, the other earth sign. So all 3 earth signs are here and create the 17. And you understand that the 17 is Aquarius, is the star. Be a star. However you want to be a priest, right? Sometimes people are a little bit like annoyed, like, oh, why is he so pompous? Well, sometimes we need a little bit of a pompousness to believe really that the spiritual is something extraordinary, and it is. When you reach that level of infinite information, you start realizing, oh my God, yeah, it is something very special. And so here we have the 17 right? And the 17 plus the 4 is, of course, the 21. And the 21, that's the world. Show to the whole world that you can be strong, reliable, right? Standing here, your ground, and know that everything has a purpose. And so the 3 is left. The 3 again is the Empress. But I can also calculate here the 9 and the 8, which is the 17, then into an 8, the 8 and the 4 is the 12. And again, we have the Hanged Man, Neptune in Aries, right? Take that step. The 4 is Aries. Take that step into the integrity. See that you are empowering yourself. And the 12 turns again also into a 3. So you can come to the 3 in the way you feel it works for you, right? Then the Sun. The Sun brings you the Earth, the number 15. And the 15 in the Tarot is the devil. And we had here Sun in Capricorn. And so the devil is Capricorn, is the career. And she's looking at the Sun, and she knows that the Sun is giving energy to her brain, to the way she makes things grow. And she's looking at the Sun, and she knows that the Sun is in Taurus, and Taurus is where the roots are formed. The roots go deeper, the leaves can go out, because there is a security, there is a stability, and that's always the 4, this stable energy. But of course he's the 5, right? And so the 5 is here in the 15. Now the 15 turns into a 6, and the 19 turns into a 10. The 10 and the 6 is the 16, and that's Mars. That's the Tower. Sometimes things got to go so that we can build new energies. Now, what is Taurus bringing? Because the Sun is in Taurus, we get the 2 of Swords, which is the Moon in Libra. And the Moon in Libra is what is happening right now, right? The Moon is in Libra, in Justice, the number 11. And so here the Moon in Libra is saying, well, once you come into the center of duality, then you come here into the 15, which is the career. You know in the career what to do and what not to do, because you are in the center. And the center comes because you are meditating. Right? And so the 4 and the 2 is a 6, and here's a 6. You have a 6-6, a very clear message. Find self-love, and through self-love, you can create whatever it is that you want to create. And here the 16 is a 7, right? And so the 7 and the 6 is the 13. And the 13, again, we know is Scorpio, the transformation. So understand that through meditation, you're learning to discern between right and left, right? Always the duality that is challenging us. But you are able to then, out of the 16 plus the 2, make it an 18. The 18, that's the Moon. In your subconscious, you know, when you look deep down, you understand that the message is quite clear, right? And so, yeah, the 10 and the 6, the 16, the 7 and the 2 is a 9. And the 9 is, again, the completion. Have within you the answers, the completion to create whatever it is that you want to create. Good. Now we're going to look at Pluto. Pluto, the shadow side, the mystical side, in retrograde, is bringing you through the Lifruma Healing Oracle, the Vane, the Weathercock, the Fluctuate, the number 56. And so the 20 and the 56 is 86. And 86 calculated together, we get the 14, and the 14 again is the 14 years where Neptune is going to be in Aries. But I can also make an 11 here. The 20th of November could be a date here. I'm just gonna read to you vain weathercock fluctuate. The weathercock knows not which way to blow, so it flutters while the next fool mutters and spins on a pin with all the flags and hues of others' views flapping in the wind. Dressed, obsessed, and oppressed by the liveries of any thoughts but your own, exit the influence of others. Weather the changes of thought by using love as your compass. Be yourself socially. Brave out life. So it is clear. Be yourself. Find through the lost compass yourself. Find that when these people come to the Pope, and we just got a new Pope, an American new Pope. And I lived in America, and that's why I'm still doing these English readings, right? Even though I don't have so many followers, I don't have so many clicks, I don't care. I do it because I love doing it. And so I see they walking here to the Pope, right? It's like a new American Pope is being picked. And so we see that here the 20th of November could be a very important date. But also, of course, we have the 14, and the 14 turns into the 5. And the 5 is the Pope, is the spiritual teacher where the people come to. What is coming from Aquarius? The 8 of Cups, which is Saturn in Pisces. And so you see that the 8 that has come here through the lost compass, right? You are walking away from things that are fluctuating, that are not stable, that are not clear. And you know that the 8-8 portal is letting you know, I am really understanding more and more that when I work on myself, no one can push me. So you have an 8-8-8 portal, 3 times the 8. And in that 8-8-8 portal, right, self-empowerment is assured when you walk away from things that fluctuate. When you walk away here from the 56 or the 11, from this portal, go through this portal. This portal is important. Maybe this portal then is by November at the end, because Pluto is going to be retrograde for 5 months. We are now in May. So we have June, July, August, September, October. Then November, it's again going forward. And so the message is so clear. Then you will have moved through a clearance, through an understanding that the last judgment, that Pluto is letting you know something very important. Walk away from the things that don't make sense. Walk away to your own safety, to your own love, and understand that everything is clear, right? Meditate, and understand the sadness. Understand that sadness is always a learning. Understand that he is here. Understand that they're walking towards him because it's Mercury in Taurus. So the spiritual aspect, the information is go to someone that has understood the steps, right? And the 3 is always the Empress. She is the one that creates new endeavors. And so the 8 of Pentacles, right? Virgo, work on yourself and know the 4 of Pentacles. Know that in the stability you are strong. Know that you have the compass and that you're coming back to an integrity, getting away from things that are making you sad or making you feel lonely or depressed, right? And you understand that the 15 is self-love. In the end, when we calculate it together, and out of self-love we can create, and we understand that the Two of Swords and the Four of Swords are also Six Swords, right? And so you know that Six Swords is something that you want to integrate in your life and find that inner peace. And then of course here the 56, we have the 11, and the 11 is letting you know, go through the portal so that you can go and find who you truly are, who you become every moment of your life. Wow, what a beautiful reading. I hope I see you in the next one. That's when we get the Sun in Gemini. So we have 6 swords, and 6 swords, that's the 6, that's the Lovers, that's Gemini. So the message is already clear. Until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.